Welcome to the wide, open quiet of Eric Trump's 1,500-acre Virginia estate. A stretch of rolling fields, soft morning fog, and long fences that disappear into the countryside. Out here, the noise of the world falls away, replaced by the steady rhythm of horses, the smell of fresh earth, and the calm that only this kind of land can give. This is where Eric Trump feels most himself, surrounded by family, working dogs, and the slow, grounded pace that country life demands. And today, we are stepping into that world, exploring the property, the lifestyle, and the private moments that shape the man behind the headlines. Before everything took shape, the story begins with the moment he stepped into the world. Eric Frederick Trump came into the world on a cold January morning in 1984 in New York City, a place where concrete towers cast long shadows, but where family drama often cast longer ones. He was the third child of Donald Trump and Ivana Trump, and when their marriage ended, the split shook the household like a quiet earthquake. At 8 years old, he learned what it felt like when a home falls into silence, and in that silence he clung to his siblings, forming the kind of bond that grows only when children decide to protect one another. Every summer, he was sent far from Manhattan to the Czech Republic, to a countryside that smelled of pine trees and river water. His grandfather became the steady hand that guided him. Days were spent learning how to fish, how to track deer, how to stay patient in the woods, and how to respect the land beneath his feet. Those summers lit the first images of the life he would one day build for himself. Quiet land, wide space, and a rhythm far slower than the world he grew up in. When he entered the Hill School in Pennsylvania, he arrived with one bag and a lamp, like someone starting from zero. Classmates later remembered him as open-hearted, someone who could work with his hands and find peace in simple craft. Woodworking caught his attention, a practice that made him slow down and focus, long before he ever stepped into a boardroom. During school breaks, he worked as a laborer on construction sites with his brother, lifting actual materials, watching real sweat mix with concrete and rain. And when he stood on the edges of corporate meetings, watching his father negotiate, he began to understand the other world that waited for him. While many expected him to follow his siblings to the University of Pennsylvania, Eric chose Georgetown University instead. There he studied finance and management, shaping the foundation that would carry him into the family empire. By the time he graduated, he knew what he wanted. A place not just in the business, but in the architecture of its future. When the financial crash of 2008 hit, many companies froze. But Eric saw an opening. Property prices were falling, and he pushed the Trump Organization to buy when others hesitated. It was a high-risk moment, the kind of decision that can build a career or bury it. The gamble paid off. Those purchases later became the backbone of major profits and helped secure the family's long-term holdings. He became executive vice president of developments and acquisitions, leading projects such as the large-scale transformation of Trump National Doral in Miami. As the Trump Organization moved forward, he helped shift the focus toward luxury hotels and reliable office properties while guiding the sale of stakes in major towers. And when the coronavirus crisis hit, these decisions became the cushions that kept the company steady through uncertain years. After Donald Trump's presidency, the spotlight turned hotter. Investigations, questions about asset valuations, and legal battles rose around the family business. Eric stepped into the public fight, speaking for the company, defending the brand, and carrying the weight of legal pressure that shaped much of his adult life. Beyond business, the public saw him often on the show The Apprentice, where he served as a boardroom judge for 5 years. But behind the television lights and the political noise, the boy who once walked Czech forests never disappeared. That steady sense of discipline and quiet resilience followed him into adulthood, shaping the way he worked, made decisions, and carried himself through long years of public pressure. Every turn in his life points to the same core: a toughness learned young, a focus shaped by work, and a quiet steadiness that guided him through pressure and expectation, forming the man he is today. And now, let us explore the Virginia estate. the place that reflects the life he has built most clearly. Virginia Estate. The quiet heart of Eric Trump's life. Nestled deep in Virginia's wine country, on a sweeping 1,500-acre estate near Charlottesville, lies the kind of property that feels more like a private retreat than a house. This is the estate that frames Eric Trump's quieter side, a place where business slows, worries fade, and the land speaks in a calm, steady rhythm. The Georgian-style manor stands at the heart of the property, its red brick facade and symmetrical wings paying homage to classical design, while the vineyards surrounding it stretch out like endless waves of green across gentle hills. Walking up the long driveway, one passes curated gardens, mature trees, and the soft hum of vineyards at work. Inside, the home radiates timeless luxury, fine wood detailing, hand-carved fixtures, a library where daylight filters through tall windows, and rooms that open onto terraces overlooking the vines. Outside, the property offers every amenity of refined country living. A pool hidden discreetly among trees, manicured croquet lawns, lakes for quiet reflection, and paths that invite long walks before anything else demands his attention. For Eric Trump, this estate is more than a statement. It's a refuge. Between global deals, boardroom calls, and the flow of city life, he steps away here. Mornings often begin with a walk past the vineyards, the scent of fresh leaves and earth clearing his mind. Later, he may arrange a quiet wine tasting on the sunlit veranda, welcome close friends or family for dinner beneath the open sky. When he does entertain, the setting speaks as loudly as the guest list. Visitors move from the manor's formal rooms into the vineyards, sharing board games beside fireplaces, quiet talks on the terrace, and conversations that drift from business to legacy to the land itself. Here, he is not just the executive or the public figure. He is the steward of this place, managing its rhythms, preserving its beauty, and sharing its calm with those he trusts. This Virginia estate, perched among vines and hills, anchors his lifestyle. The cars and residences may change, projects will evolve, and responsibilities may grow, but this property offers constancy. An elegant base where the work is done, the deals decompress, and the private moments come alive in their fullest, most peaceful form. From the calm hills of Virginia, we now shift to a different chapter of his life. Eric Trump's home in sunny waterfront Florida. House in Florida. Located inside one of the most private and upscale neighborhoods in Jupiter, Florida, Eric Trump's $3,200,000 residence reflects exactly the kind of lifestyle his family is known for. Spacious, secure, and shielded from the noise of public attention. The home sits in Admiral's Cove, a waterfront community famous for its golf course, private marina, and strict security, where every property is surrounded by greenery, quiet canals, and a sense of careful isolation that makes everyday life feel calm and protected. According to public records, the house spans more than 7,715 square feet, designed in a bright, clean Florida style that blends modern lines with coastal architecture. Inside, the layout is open and airy, with high ceilings, large glass doors, and wide rooms that let in natural light throughout the day. The main living area faces the backyard, where a clear blue pool sits at the center of a neatly landscaped garden, creating a space perfect for family time or quiet afternoons at home. The home includes all the amenities expected in a high-end Florida estate: a spacious multi-car garage, an oversized kitchen built for gatherings, and outdoor lounge areas overlooking the water. A private dock sits directly behind the property, allowing convenient access to boating, a common pastime in this part of Jupiter and an easy escape whenever the family wants a moment on the water. Although not overly showy, the residence reflects Eric Trump's preferred lifestyle: protected, comfortable, and surrounded by nature. With its blend of luxury, privacy, and calm surroundings, this Florida home has become a quiet retreat where his family can step away from busy schedules, enjoy time together, and find peace away from public life. Stepping out of his Florida estate, we now explore the cars that define his pace and everyday style of movement. Car collection. The Cadillac Escalade entered his life at a time when movement needed to feel secure and steady. He chose it for its height, its powerful engine, and the smooth, quiet way it carried him through crowded streets. He often used it for work trips and major events, letting the soft leather cabin and cool air turn every ride into a calm space before facing the noise outside. Worth around $100,000, the Escalade became more than a luxury SUV. It became the private room where he could collect himself between the demanding moments of his day. From that comfort, the Volkswagen Golf brought a completely different rhythm. Small, fast, and easy to slip through tight city streets, it became the car he turned to when he wanted simplicity. He used it for everyday life, quick errands, quiet drives, moments when he wanted to feel unseen and unbothered by the noise around him. Its crisp steering and nimble feel gave him a sense of freedom he rarely gets, a moment where the road was quiet, the engine breathed sharply, and the world felt almost normal. Today, it holds a value of about $30,000, a simple car that has become a familiar convenience for him. Finally, the Chevrolet Suburban carried the weight of responsibility. Long, armored, and built to move through crowds with absolute control, it became the backbone of travel during years when every movement needed precision. During high-pressure schedules, he often sat in the back while advisors briefed him, the cabin steady and insulated as the outside world slid past the tinted glass. Worth $90,000, the Suburban is less a car and more a command center. A place where he could prepare, gather himself, and step out ready for whatever waited beyond the door. These cars reveal the calm, the simplicity, and the responsibility that shape his daily life. Now, let's explore the assets that helped shape the world he built. Income and net worth. $2 billion. That is the total net worth attached to Eric Trump today, a number built through salary, real estate, multi-million-dollar development deals, and new investment streams that continue to generate money year after year. Over the past 2 decades, financial disclosures released by Ivanka Trump show that each of the 3 siblings, Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump, earned about $35 million in salary. This steady income came from years of managing resorts, overseeing construction, negotiating contracts, and running the daily operations of the Trump Organization. But the real money came from his role as executive vice president. Every major development he handled, hotel renovations, golf course expansions, and luxury property upgrades, brought in multi-million-dollar commissions, management fees, and long-term profit shares. When Trump Golf grew into nearly 20 properties worldwide, Eric's involvement in each project directly increased his personal earnings. International real estate deals also became a powerful income source. High-value agreements in Qatar and Dubai generated large contract fees and long-term revenue, boosting his wealth year after year. In recent years, he opened a new income stream through cryptocurrency. As co-founder of World Liberty Financial, he now earns from blockchain projects, crypto partnerships, and plans for Trump-branded developments that may accept Bitcoin, a modern, fast-growth sector of his financial portfolio. His personal real estate adds another layer of value. He owns a multi-unit residence overlooking Central Park, a duplex at Trump National Golf Club in Westchester, and in 2018, he and Donald Trump Jr. purchased a Mar-a-Lago estate for $18,500,000. With ocean frontage, a pool, a sunroom, and a private library, the property alone reflects tens of millions in long-term value. Together, these income streams, salary, global developments, international deals, cryptocurrency ventures, and high-value real estate, form the financial backbone behind Eric Trump's world. They show how his wealth has grown steadily over the years and how every decision he makes continues to shape a lifestyle built on long-term growth, strategic investments, and the influence he holds inside the family empire. From his wealth, we now turn to the even better side, the charitable efforts he chooses to support. Philanthropy. He later established the Eric Trump Foundation, turning personal conviction into organized action. Through charity galas, annual fundraisers, and community-driven campaigns, the foundation raised more than $25 million for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Those funds helped support treatments, advanced research, and the development of a dedicated hospital wing that now carries his name. A quiet reminder of the many families whose lives were touched through that support. Beyond his work with St. Jude, Eric Trump also directed support toward veteran and community-focused charities, adding another layer to his philanthropic footprint. Over the years, he contributed more than $5 million to programs assisting military families, including funds for housing repairs, medical support, and emergency financial aid for veterans recovering from service-related injuries. He also backed national events that collectively raised over $2 million for wounded service members returning from deployment. Eric Trump also extended his giving to education programs, donating more than $1,500,000 to help underfunded schools access new learning materials and technology. For him, supporting students was a way to give young people a stronger start and open doors to opportunities they might otherwise miss. For Eric, these contributions were never about scale, but about duty, a way to honor those who had sacrificed their health, time, and stability for the country. And from his charitable efforts, we now step into his personal life, where private moments reveal a different side of the man behind the public image. Personal life. Eric Trump's life today is shaped far more by his family than by the noise around his public role. He and his wife, Laura Trump, now raise their 2 children between New York and Florida, keeping their daily routines simple and steady. At home, mornings begin early as both parents move through a coordinated rhythm built around school schedules, work calls, and family responsibilities. Laura manages her own media projects while Eric handles business updates from the Trump Organization and his newer ventures. But they stay closely connected throughout the day, often working from the same space, so their children feel their presence. Their relationship remains one of the more grounded within the Trump family. After meeting in 2008 and marrying in 2014 at Mar-a-Lago, they've continued building a life that leans toward privacy rather than spectacle. Most afternoons, once work obligations slow down, Eric shifts into family mode, helping with the kids' activities, homework, or simply spending time with them at home. Weekends are usually reserved for their children, sports practices, small family gatherings, or time outdoors on the property, where the kids can run freely and stay away from cameras. With close friends, Eric keeps a small circle, usually people he has known for years. Their gatherings are uncomplicated, time with the children, shared meals, or catching up at home. On social media, he sometimes posts glimpses of this life. The kids playing, moments with Laura, or family events that mark their routine as warm and steady. In recent months, Eric has also been traveling selectively for business, especially for projects tied to international development and his financial technology ventures. These trips are short and purposeful, allowing him to return quickly to the routine he values most, being present with his children and keeping life stable for his family. Eric Trump's world today is defined not by headlines, but by the steady rhythm of family, routine, and the private moments he now protects above everything else. It is a life shaped by raising 2 young children with Laura, choosing stability over noise, and balancing his business responsibilities with the quiet spaces that belong only to his family. If you want more stories like this, from personal lives to luxury estates, car collections, and wealth journeys, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. And now, tell me which character you want to explore next in our upcoming episode.